Hi there, it's Councillor Glen. It is August the 6th, Saturday, August the 6th. It's good to be back. I was off on the long weekend. This morning I am at Rouncey Park, a beautiful park here. One of the nicest parks, one of the biggest parks I think in Stittsville actually. You can see the splash pad behind me is already busy. There's tennis courts here. There's a great play structure for kids, picnic shelter, a big soccer field, a big hill over there that in the winter is a great toboggan hill, and in the summer I've seen kids going down on their dirt bikes and everything. There's a skateboard park and a basketball court over here. Really nice park. It's on Rouncey at Groningen. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's in the Blackstone neighbourhood. A great place to check out. I wanted to come here to a location in our community with a splash pad. It's a hot day and splash pads are a great place to cool off. I believe we have 7 splash pads in Stittsville. We've got Rouncey, Rouncey Park, Bandmaster, Pioneer Plains, which I've heard is reopened, although I haven't officially checked it out yet. We've got the new Maze Park. We've got Deer Run, Upcountry. That's 7. So if I'm not missing any, we've got 7 splash pads here in Stittsville. It is a hot day. There is a heat warning in effect from Ottawa Public Health because of the heat and the humidity. So if you check out OttawaPublicHealth.ca, they actually have some really good tips on what you can do to stay safe and to cool off. They have a list of all the splash pads and wading pools and outdoor pools in the city. They also have a list of cooling centers. So if you are someone without AC or you know someone, maybe a family or friend who doesn't have air conditioning, there's a list of places you can go to cool off. The library here in Stittsville is a great place. Also Cardo Rec. You can drop in anytime at Cardo Rec. A couple good places to cool off in the heat. And please, if you've got a neighbor, maybe an older neighbor or someone with health issues, check in on them and check in how they're doing with this heat and make sure they're okay. It's going to be a hot weekend. I have a whole bunch of updates today. Lots of local updates, so let me jump right into it. First of all, you might have seen over the last few days construction activity starting up again on Abbott Street and on Hobin Street. These are road resurfacing projects. They're going to be repaving the road. It was supposed to start back in June, but there was a strike by the road workers, so it's affecting road projects, public and private road projects all over the city. That strike has been resolved, so work is resuming. I really want to, I'm concerned because the idea was to do these in July and August essentially, so that the work could be completed before back to school, because both Abbott and Hobin Street have schools. Aylorne Cassidy on Hobin and 3 schools on Abbott. You've got Sacred Heart, Jean-Paul II, and Paul Desmarais. So, hoping that work can get restarted and back up and running as soon as possible so we can get those out of the way and finished before school starts up. A real crunch for Abbott Street because usually Jean-Paul II, being in the French, and I believe the high school as well, start up before Labor Day rather than after Labor Day. Anyways, I hope to have an update on all that in the next few days on the schedules, and I'll share that with the community through my website and in my newsletter and on social media. We also got a heads up that blasting will be starting soon on the Idylea project. That's on Fernbank Road behind Liard and Caribou Street. Everyone close by should have received a notification letter and an opportunity to do a pre-blast survey. That's to help identify any potential damage that might occur. If you have any questions about that, go to my website, glengower.ca/blasting. Also on my website, you'll see information about a temporary road closure of Maple Grove between, I think it's Warmstone and Cento. There's some connections for the new development where the stone houses are, some connections, water and sewer being done on Maple Grove. If you live on Maple Grove in those homes, you'll still be able to access your homes, but no through traffic in that area. So information on my website. And if you go to ottawa.ca, you can find information about a major highway closure next weekend. It's 417 at Booth Street. They're replacing the highway bridge, and so they're going to completely shut down the Queensway from August 11th to 15th. It's a major impact, so make sure you go to ottawa.ca to understand the detour routes and the timings and plan accordingly. Couple of upcoming events in our community. August 12th, that's next Friday at Village Square Park, Abbott at Stittsville, Maine. Kiwanis is hosting a free outdoor movie night. The movie is Sing 2. It's a great family-friendly event. I'm really looking forward to that. We did a movie night in 2019, but because of the pandemic, there hasn't been a community movie night in quite a while. So the Kiwanis is organizing it this year. So again, there's information on my website, August 13th. Hope you guys can make it out there. And then on August 20th, I'm going to be back here at Rouncey Park. We're doing another councillor chat from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. So this is an opportunity just to drop by, say hello, ask a question, share a comment, share your feedback, or just hang out here at the park. We'll be under the picnic shelter August 20th, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. More information on my website, glengower.ca. Jordan from my office posted a great summary about e-bikes and where you're allowed to ride an e-bike. So if it's well, there's multiple types of e-bikes first of all. So we've gone through and identified those different types, and we've clarified where e-bikes are allowed. Now the typical e-bikes that we see, which are pedal bikes that you can pedal and have a motor assist, they are allowed where bikes are allowed. So on the Trans-Canada Trail and on bike paths and on in bike lanes and so on. But there are other restrictions depending on the type of bike and so on. So if that's of interest to you, check it out on my website, glengower.ca. I was glad to see signage go up this week for Robert Grant Avenue. So this fall, there will be shovels in the ground to start work on the next phase of Robert Grant Avenue, extending the street from Abbott Street to Hazeldean Road. It's about a $20 million project, and it'll take 18 to 24 months to complete. So there's signage up there now to announce it. It's a major project, a really important project for Stittsville, because it not only gives a much needed vehicle access to the Fernbank, Blackstone community, it's also bike paths and sidewalks. So the first time we're going to have a continuous bike path and sidewalk in this part of the community, heading between Abbott and Hazeldean Road. And it's also a future route for rapid transit for buses, so it gives more options to improve the routes for transit. So all modes of transportation covered off there, and that work will be starting soon. And I want to thank a resident who pointed out there's a discrepancy in how they've translated the starting and ending date, so we will get that fixed soon. Thank you to the resident with the sharp eyes there. What else? Oh, I got a great email this week, or perhaps it was last week, I've lost track, from a resident named Lynn, who had some great reminders around wildlife. We do have a lot of wildlife in Stittsville. We're lucky. We live near a lot of natural areas, and so we have to coexist with wildlife. They are part of our community. But Lynn wanted me to remind residents not to feed the animals. A number of reasons for that, but one of them is we don't want animals to be too comfortable around humans, because that can cause problems. If you feed animals, you know, rabbits, skunks, raccoons, it does attract them, and then they tend to take up habitat in your roof or your attic, which causes problems. It also attracts coyotes into the neighborhood as well. So please don't feed animals in our community. It can cause a lot of unintended issues and consequences. Green bins. Close your green bins, make sure they're secure, and also bring out your green bins in the morning rather than keeping them overnight. That's another thing that can attract animals. And then early morning is when you should be bringing your green bins out and your garbage out. Again, not to attract animals. We've had some inquiries about coyotes. If you go to my website and search for coyotes, you'll find a great video that I did a couple years ago with Nick Stowe, the city's biologist, about tips on how to coexist with coyotes. One of the things he mentions in that video is a request to people to keep your cats inside your home. Coyotes are attracted by small animals, sadly house cats, but also rabbits and other small animals. Anyhow, thank you, Lynn, for the reminders about wildlife. I just saw a question. There's a lot of questions coming in, and it's hard to read while I talk here, but I did see a question about when is the stop sign coming at Kimpton and Overland. Any day now. I'm surprised it actually hasn't been installed already, although we're seeing a lot of delays with installation of signage, but hopefully that'll be installed any day now on Kimpton. And if you do see people speeding or driving dangerously in the community, please report it. OttawaPublicHealth.ca/report. I wonder, oh, look at that. Facebook will let me scroll through here. All right. Yes, we are aware of Kimpton and the flex stake that may have been installed incorrectly. We are looking at that. The stop signs are coming soon. We've almost got all the traffic calming installed across Stittsville. I think there's Bobolink is a location where it hasn't been installed yet, but that will be coming as soon as possible. One more update is for a very small number of people who live on Henry Goulbourn. I think it's 8 or 9 residents. Hydro Ottawa is replacing a transformer that was damaged during the storm and the storm recovery. And so everyone affected will receive a letter in the mail, some kind of contact from Hydro Ottawa with the details. There's a power outage coming up this week. It'll be over the course of about 8 hours, I believe. So if you are in Henry Goulbourn, you would have received a letter from Hydro with information, but please be aware of that as well. They're installing new equipment to try to address some of the frequent power outages and the current weakness, I guess, in the system that's causing some of these outages. I think that's it for me today. I wanted to mention I'm going to be doing this update for the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then I have to pause because any councillor who's seeking re-election has to adhere to a 60-day blackout period. And what that means is we cannot use city resources, so staff or budget, to do updates. So I'm going to have to pause from August 25th to October 24th. I'm going to have to pause my weekly videos on this channel. I'm going to have to pause my newspaper column. I'm going to have to pause even my email newsletter that reaches 7,000 people each week. So just wanted to give you a heads up. If you're a regular watcher, thank you for watching regularly. But as of August 25th, I've got to put a pause during the 60 days leading up to the election on October 24th. So heads up on that. That's it for me today. I hope you get out and about and explore your community. Like I said at the beginning, Rouncey Park is a great place to visit. There is, I think, something for everyone at this park. And go cool off in the splash pad. Even if you are not a kid, you are still allowed to go and run through the splash pad and get cooled off. On a day like today, I don't think anybody will mind at all. Anyhow, enjoy the weekend. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening on the podcast. And I'll talk to you next week. Take care.